What's up, people? All right, I got some information that I want to go over with you guys, and I thought I would do it by video because it's kind of like a training, but not in person. So I want you to individually listen to the information I'm going to give you and just be really clear, and we will work on Monday's meeting to go over this again. But right now, as you guys know, you started at the top of your sphere with A and W. So there's a message that it's really imperative that we get out to our spheres because it's going to bring us more business and it's going to really help some people who need it. So as you know, as a part of the CARES Act, the government offered 180-day mortgage forbearance on all government-backed mortgages with an option to extend protection by an additional 180 days. So private mortgage lenders, not government-backed, generally offered 180-day forbearance as well, but without any obligation to extend beyond that. So during the forbearance period, homeowners with a financial hardship could defer paying their mortgages without the risk of foreclosure. So here's the thing, for homeowners with private mortgages who went into forbearance at the beginning of the shutdown, the 6-month protection period is ending in the next few weeks. And remember, the private mortgage lenders have no obligation to extend beyond the 6 months. So as a result, we are going to anticipate seeing a swell of distressed properties. And many mortgage service companies are notifying homeowners of loss mitigation options, including short sale, and they're staffing appropriate departments to handle an uptick in applications. So here's the thing, it's very critical for you guys to understand, really embody this information and be able to convey it. Number one, you probably know that I was working behind the scenes to acquire the short sale business of Vlad. He was the #1 short sale agent through the Great Recession in the 2000s. So I've acquired a lot of systems, processes, and just generally have full access to his knowledge. So what's important for you to know and be able to convey? We have specialized experience. We know that a short sale is about the seller, not about the house. So typical agents will take the listing like any other agent, like any other house, and treat it like any other house. And it can really create a mess for these homeowners. So what's a little bit different about us is that we're not just going to take a listing and throw it on the market and hope and pray that it all works out. We're actually we have a process where we pre-qualify the sellers. And many other agents, if they're not specialized in short sales, they won't pre-qualify them and they don't know where to begin. And there are cases where we turn down sellers because they simply don't qualify. There's something about their financial profile that their lender is not, no matter what, going to allow them to sell that house short. So another thing to understand is that this time for distressed sellers is a little bit different. There are distressed sellers out there who actually have equity. So these are people who have lost their jobs, have been out of work for a long term. Maybe they've ridden out unemployment, which of course has, stopped, the extra unemployment stopped recently. And now they're in a position where maybe they don't have jobs. They are late on their mortgages, the forbearance is running out, and they need their equity to live. They need to be able to liquidate that equity pretty quickly. So while these aren't short sales, these are sales that still need to be handled in a special way. So they're basically sellers in distress. And of course, we're serving those sellers as well with a different process than, any kind of seller who comes in a normal situation and wants to sell their home. In this case, traditional real estate expectations should be thrown out in distress cases. And that's why it's really important for you to convey to your sphere, while it may not be them, they may know somebody in financial distress because of COVID, and they need to be hiring an experienced agent so that they don't get into a deeper financial issue. So again, I acquired the processes, the systems, and more importantly, the sort of institutional knowledge of the #1 short sale agent through the 2000s. So as you're calling your A&Ws this week, and then next week it's the B&Es, and I forget what's after that, it's really important. This is a new conversation. This is a new reason to call people. You do not have to be asking them for business per se, but you're basically just calling like, hey, Joe, I'm so glad to talk to you. How's life? Da, da, da. You build rapport, etc., catch up with them. So, hey, here's the reason I'm calling. You know that there's been a significant impact to homeowners due to COVID, and millions of homeowners took forbearance, and now these forbearances are going to start to come due. So what I'm getting the word out on is that my team has acquired a new division, which specifically helps distressed sellers. These sellers might be upside down on their mortgage, or they may have equity and just need to sell quickly because of potential foreclosure. So I want to be sure anyone in my circle knows that we're specializing in helping these sellers. Many agents will treat these like typical sales. However, what we know is that these sales are not about the house. They're actually about the sellers and their financial futures. So could you please do me a favor? If you run into someone who's going through financial distress and needs to see if selling their home is right for them, please have them call me. Or better yet, call me, get their approval, and I will call them directly and just take that step out for them. I want to avoid having these owners using an agent who isn't skilled in this type of transaction, because it can cause some significant financial damage if these types of sales aren't handled properly. So could you do that for me? And that's it. Just get their commitment, make sure that they hear this script in this way. So the key that we want them to understand is that someone in financial distress or someone short selling their home, this is not a typical sale. This isn't hire, Susie Realtor, get staging, get fancy photos and put your home on the market and then hope that the rest works out. This is a very different process where we are going to pre-qualify these sellers to make sure that we get the best results. And to be honest, some of the results that we have we've created lately, we have one seller, we were able to efficiently get $155,000 deficiency waived. We were able to help them get out from under I think it was about a $3,500 front foot benefit bill that they had not been paying. There was a $5,400, I believe, water bill that we helped get released. We've helped a lot of these sellers get out of tax liens and other liens that they would not otherwise get out of without professional help. And of course, all these things have to happen in order for the home to go to closing. So this is a great time for them to potentially get a fresh start on their finances and, most importantly, kind of get back their peace of mind, being free from, from everything that's weighing them down. So really critical. Watch this video a couple times. We're going to talk about this again in Monday's meeting, and we're going to go over some, just some training over the next several weeks to make sure you guys really have a handle on what it is we're doing with short sales. Any questions? Let me know.